Hey, it's the Finger Lakes Board Sports Podcast, brought to you by RochesterWindSports.com and the hardworking people here at FingerLakes1.com. I'm Doug Willard, one of your hosts, along with the Barney Rubble to my Fred Flintstone, Jason Gordon. Hey, Jay, good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
All right, hoping to get your hair wet a little later. I know. On this March 19th, 2014, it's a windy one. Big wind from the south. Did you get a reading, Jason? What's the wind blowing?
Yes, I stopped in Geneva, and we were reading between 20 and 35 miles per hour at the Chamber of Commerce.
Rolling from the south?
From the south,
Wow.
Yep.
Fantastic. So that's good. That's good news for the spring to come and for some people to get some rise. I'll cross my fingers for you later. So anyways, aloha and good morning to any viewers we have in Hawaii, and bon nuit to those that may be watching in France. So you never know, right? I'm wishful, but I think we have a good podcast too. I got a good co-host.
I agree.
Anyways, moving on. It's been a month since we got together and talked about windsurfing, kiteboarding, Great Lakes surfing, stand-up paddleboarding. So let's do it again and see what's fresh and what's happening right now. So maybe grab yourself a cup of Finger Lakes coffee, or maybe a cold pint from an up and coming Finger Lakes brewery, right?
Yes.
You can wrap a hand around one of those.
I think I'm about ready for one of those.
Yeah. Check us out and see if we talk about something that you might enjoy. What we do plan to talk about today is we're kind of in the twilight of the ice season for all of these sports, and we'll talk about that. Jason had a special session this past weekend he'd like to talk about. I know he's excited to talk about that. I've been having a couple like windsurf nightmares lately. They never end well. So I'd like to get your reading on what do you think these mean. We've got some gear review coming up. We've got a GoPro camera pole mount, as well as a surf wax comb. We've got that stuff in studio. We've got some booties, a review of some brand new booties Jason has, as well as Hyperflex wetsuits. We've also got special guests. We'd like to dig a little deeper into Great Lakes surfing today. So that all sounds good.
Yes, it does.
We should get going. Without further ado then, let's see. Ladies and those that love a fantastic French accent, prepare to swoon. In studio, we've got Aurellien Bouche-Pillon with us. He's a Great Lakes surfer. Welcome to the show, Aurellien.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Glad to have you here. Jay and I, of course, talk a lot about kite surfing, windsurfing, primary stuff for us, but your primary interest and kind of sport pursuit is surfing. I know on the oceans and things, but now on the Great Lakes as well, as you're in Rochester. How did you get here? Where did surfing start in your life, and what do you feel about it now that you're in Rochester?
Well, I've always been very passionate about surfing. Obviously, I started skateboarding when I was very young, and studying, snowboarding, then surfing when I was a young teenager. Surfed in France, in the southwest coast of France, and in the Mediterranean Sea. That is like a huge lake. It's the sea, but we do get wave too. But mainly in the southwest coast of France, where it's very, very popular. And came in United States 8 years ago and got lost in Rochester, New York, and ended up realizing that the Great Lakes are a beautiful place in the world, and it's a lot of fresh water, and actually we do get fantastic surf and fantastic waves. So that's why I am now living in Rochester, New York, and doing the best out of it.
Okay. So, Jay, you've known Aurellien for a while, and
a couple of years, yep.
People might recognize him from he's been on TV advocating for surfing, but also advocating for taking care of the Great Lakes and our water, something the resource that we all share.
He's a great steward for the sport and for the lakes. So you do a great job for that.
Thank you.
So this winter, there's been a lot of snow and ice. Have you managed? When's the season? What are the seasons for surfing on the Great Lakes? And I guess people would say there's no waves on Lake Ontario. It's a lake. You need ground swell to have waves. How has your kind of surf season been? Is this the high season for it?
Well, first of all, we need wind swell and not ground swell. A ground swell will be for the ocean. There's no ground swell on the lakes. We need a lot of wind. So falls will be the appropriate season for surfing on the Great Lakes, and obviously winter. Winter is fascinating around the Great Lakes. It's white, it's cold, it's brutal, and that's what we love. It has been a very difficult winter, like everybody know. It's just we have 95% or more of the 5 Great Lakes that are recovered with ice. So there's no surf on Lake Erie. There's no surf on Lake Superior. And there's a little bit of surfing on Lake Ontario. So I did manage to get some nice session with great friends in Toronto in the Bluffers Park, where there's a huge surf scene. But it was not as much than usually. Usually you can surf 3-4 times a week, sometime in the winter. With the right storm, it has just been way cooler than usually.
So when you did have that session in Toronto, was there some ice in the water, or was it pretty clear of ice?
No, we did have some ice. There's a big iceberg in the water, and you have to paddle around those. And actually, some friends were just playing around, and we'll just leave their board, drop their board, and actually walk on the iceberg.
Wow.
You know. So yeah, so we like to keep it cool, and fresh. It's fresh water.
That's
you need
fresh.
A little ice out there to make it exciting.
Wow. That's so when you're getting rides or when you're catching a wave, is there specialized equipment, and how long can an able surfer expect to get to stay on a wave on a good day? Let's call it on a good day on the Great Lakes. Specialized equipment, and how long are these rides?
Well, specialized equipment, yes. You need a little. People will ride longer boards than in the ocean. Has to do with the fact that we obviously have no salt, so there's less buoyancy on the Great Lakes. But somebody that is skillful and have surfing experience will be able to still manage to surf with a shorter board. Special equipment, yes. I personally like my boards to be a little thicker than normal and a little wider, with maybe a different fin setup that will allow me to gain more speed, and a little less rocker too. So you
rocker being the front to back curvature of the
yes,
board.
correct. So you can actually see on my back there's my Osmosis board that is actually designed in America and made designed in Canada and made in America, and we're trying to work on some prototype that allow Great Lake surfer to take full advantage of the wave and actually have more buoyancy and paddling power and be able to last on a wave longer than normal. So it's a little thicker, more buoyant. Yes, a 5-fin setup, so I can play around in function of the condition, put it in 3-fin or 4 fins or even 5-fin like I have it today with a little extra fin. I get 45 seconds right to answer your question.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Jay, have you seen? I
have.
and it's wow.
Up near Watertown, we had a really good day once, and Aurellien had a better part of 30-40 second ride. And, so you are a team rider for Osmosis, right? Now, is that an American company or a Canadian company?
It's actually both.
Okay.
The owner, Daryl Austin, is actually from Florida but live in St. Catherine, Canada, on Lake Ontario.
Okay.
And the manufacturing is hand-shaped in United States of America.
These are boards?
Those boards, yes.
Boards,
and
okay.
we actually do have a couple fantastic riders with us. People from Wisconsin and people from Peru that live in Toronto, and we just welcome Ekulu Kalama, that is actually world champion of stand-up paddleboard, that is going to be riding Osmosis board with us. So it's a very exciting, dynamic team, and everything is born in the Great Lakes. And the idea is to promote manufacturing in the United States, because most of surfboards and equipment are made overseas. Nothing wrong with that, but it's always good to try to come back here and try to give some job and work and for economy, but also try to use more environmental friendly material for surfing.
And what's your involvement as far as the design of the prototype boards that you're talking about? Are you giving feedback to the manufacturer as far as the specifications that seem to work better for the conditions that you tend to ride in?
Exactly, yes. For example, for this board, it was coming in a size that was a little smaller than the one I ordered. So I asked the owner and shaper to actually make it a little longer and make it a little thicker and make it a little wider. And I had, to instead of 3 fin, to have a 5-fin setup, so I can play with my fin setup in function of the conditions. So I am involved a little bit in the design to make them Great Lake friendly.
Yeah. Great.
How long is it taking you to kind of adapt and adjust? You've been here 8 years, from perhaps and maybe do you travel at all? Do you ever get to any exotic locations to go to go surfing still?
Yeah, no, for sure. We do travel a lot for business, but also mainly surfing. I can mix both of it. So in 8 years, been surfing most of the West Coast, East Coast, Hawaii, Costa Rica, China. Been back to France. Been to Africa with my wife for surfing in Morocco. Been surfing, yes, I mean Canada, 3 of the Great Lakes. Try to keep active and try to travel, and to, it's an endless experience. And I also really enjoy to keep exploring for the perfect wave on the Great Lakes around home, where some of those waves I know for a fact nobody ever surfed them in history of America.
Wow!
So it's a very exciting journey.
So how do people that surf on the Great Lakes, how does that community stay connected with each other, or is there a way to check in and find out where it might be going off, where you might be able to get some rides? Is there, like, Facebook or websites, or is it word of mouth, or you see who shows up?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd like to say that there's a fantastic community around the Great Lakes. The 5 Great Lakes are so united with many passionate people, people that share the same passion, people that are very, very stuck, like we said. So I'm very proud to be part of it, and there's a lot of amazing people from different backgrounds, and there's different Facebook pages, different club. There is different social media and blogs, and we organize events and competitions. So we all get together. It's a big family, and we stay in touch. We travel to each other's places, invite each other. There's men, women, people from Peru, from France, from California. There is all the people. I have
all
a
walks
friend
of lives, backgrounds,
yes,
employment.
Oh yeah, there's lawyers surfing. There's business people. There's we even have people that really truly have been surfing in a professional level that surf in the lake and will not change it for anything in the world. So fantastic family, growing community of very dynamic people.
And as far as that group of people, are most of them just weekend warriors, so to speak, people who come out and just do it for fun, or do you have some involvement in some contests and setting up contests mostly for fun, or is that semi-professional type contests?
So yes, we had contests in the Great Lakes for a little while. Great Lakes surfing is actually pretty old. People will not expect, but Great Lakes surfing has been here for a little while. And we have a legacy that has been left from the Eastern Surfing Association, that is the biggest amateur surfing association in the world. And Maggie Lacoste, that was a firefighter that passed away a couple of years ago, was involved and was promoting Great Lake surfing through events and competition that will allow Great Lake surfers to represent on the East Coast in an amateur level. But I like to say that Kelly Slater, 11-time world champion, started in the ESA, so that could be a path for the younger people that would like to get involved with the surfing. So we organize events, and the idea is truly to push Great Lake surfing and to show the world, we're here. We're great, like I said, Great Lake, great people, great life. It's all about being great, and so there's some fantastic surfer in the Great Lakes, and I think the level is rising, and I think I won't be surprised, and actually it is my dream, and I'd like to see maybe a world champion coming from the Great Lakes one day. You never know, in 40 years from now.
Why not? I know in the past, getting towards windsurfing, we've had people that have back more in the heyday of sponsored riders for windsurfing. There were people, Alf Imperato, that came from Rochester, and I think he probably still lives in Hawaii, and guys that were high level riders from our area that were Great Lakes people. Much like the conditions for surfing, for windsurfing, it's not as consistent as it is here, or it isn't as consistent here as it is other places. So these are small beginnings for these people that have reached the world stage. So that would be fascinating. Someday to have a champion from the Great Lakes.
Pretty neat.
Well, you've organized a contest yourself as well that was here last year up on Lake Ontario.
Correct.
And there was some media coverage of that. How much work was involved in doing that? And where did people end up coming from? Where did they pull from?
Yes, I was very happy. I got a lot of help from my lovely wife that is here, and from the community. The idea was a surfing event to gather people in a unique place in Rochester, New York, that I don't believe that nobody ever done a surfing event in Rochester, New York. So I wanted to put it on the map of surfing. And people came from Toronto, people came from Canada, Lake Erie, obviously Lake Ontario, Toronto just in front of us, people from Rochester, New York. We even had people from the ocean. So it was a fantastic day, very cold and very windy, and we got wave, and we had an amazing after party. Everybody was smiling, and the media covered it, and it was something very unique. I got so many feedback all the way until a couple days ago when I was snowboarding in Bristol Mountain. Somebody, ended up knowing that I was on the newspaper for organizing a surfing event. So it's not about me, but it's about the sport and growing the community. And I still have some pictures of everybody before the event on the beach that are beautiful people smiling, ready to battle for fun in a very cold environment where people, you will give them some money to go in the water, they will never go. And those people were, smiling. So it was a great event.
Excellent. Jason, well, we've talked about community. I mean, that sounds like the community of people and how it is such a neat community to be a part of, the people that have the mindset they want to be outside like yourself in the element. Maybe it's not even on the water, but being around other people that share the excitement that you do. So I mean, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Jay, you have attempted stand-up paddling and surfing.
Yep.
How is that? You have any experience you want to share relating to that?
Well, I can say that trying to do a paddle and surf ride on the Great Lakes is much more difficult than in the ocean, because I've had a lot more luck in the ocean than on the Great Lakes. Stand-up paddleboard surfing is easier because you're already standing up and you don't have to have that push to get onto the board. You're already standing and you just motivate with your paddle into the wave, and so if you can have the balance to ride the wave, you're already halfway there because you're not jumping up on the board as well.
I guess go ahead. Sorry.
Of course, it's a much bigger board too. So now the board behind Aurellien is about 6.5 feet, I think, right?
6'2", yeah.
6'2". So, yeah. I mean, if I tried to paddle that in, I'd last about 10 minutes and I'd be completely exhausted.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
With all the assorted stuff you need to wear, the thick wetsuit and the booties and the mitts and the hood, and that gets exhausting too. Well, I mention it because, of course, stand-up paddleboarding seems to really be taking off. Well, it is internationally, but in our area as well. We have a couple of retailers, and I know I've seen more of them on top of people's cars, and I imagine most people have taken to finding it to be another way to get out and enjoy being on the water, this fantastic freshwater resource that we have, and to experience that, maybe not thinking, hey, maybe I can try to explore in some waves. And you can do that, in some of the smaller wind-driven swell, I imagine, in the summertime as well, to kind of get your feet wet and get the feel. And it's not freezing, it's warm, and then once you get bitten...
well, especially if you have a flat water board, which doesn't have the rocker in it that a wave board has, you would need to have pretty small waves, otherwise it just wouldn't function very well.
Sure.
But yeah, that's a good point. You could give it a try in smaller waves, and maybe it does give you the impetus to try, in bigger waves with a smaller board.
It could start something.
Yeah.
Really quickly, Aurellien, surfers, and I'm going to ask you to debunk a myth or perhaps give me your opinion on it. Surfers are very territorial. This is what people say about surfers, and when you go to a break, you better follow the rules of that break. And Jason and myself and you, there could be days where we share, windsurfers flying this way and kiteboarders going that way, and surfers waiting in the water or running out of the pier there at the Irondequoit Bay Outlet and jumping in and riding all that swell repeatedly in. You've described a pretty nice bunch of people so far. You haven't described what people would say is those surfers that will fight for their way. You haven't described that. It doesn't. I mean, and that's good. That feels really good. There's always a couple eggs in each basket, but in general, it sounds like, again, you're just a part of the big water-loving community.
Well, the thing is, I have a board that is well made, so I'm going very fast, so I don't have time to see other people. So if there's bad people in the water, I'm just trying to go faster, so I don't see them. No, there's just, the people are people. There's humans, human nature, everywhere. You could have some people that will be more competitive than others. People are more territorial. the truth is the rule of surfing is to have fun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what your level of surfing. Nobody's an expert. It's such a very challenging discipline. You cannot master it. It's a lifetime journey, and even at the end of a lifetime, you can't even say that you're a good surfer. So personally, I have no pretension to master the sport that I love, but I do have the desire to have fun and to get better. There's to come back to the only rule of any surf sport is to respect people and try to be safe, because it could be dangerous. But I like to add that the most important rule is to try to keep our lakes clean and the ocean clean, and to do not litter, and to do not trash on the beach. But yes, I mean, there's different sport involved in some sport, like kite surfing. That is a different discipline where it involves a lot of speed and sometimes a little bit more space. And surfer and kite surfer can be in the middle of each other. I don't see it as an issue if people communicate and if people master what they do in a way and trying to be responsible. But things can happen.
Yeah.
Things can happen everywhere. An accident happened to me just a couple of weeks ago on Lake Ontario in Toronto. I ended up having to repair my board. And somebody was, is a friend of mine. He did a little tiny bit mistake, but all I did, I smiled. I asked him if he was okay, and I ended up repairing my board, and it's all good. It's just about having fun. So
Perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Comes back to right away too, and people's understanding of right away and the big picture. I think of that. I'm no maritime expert, but I think it comes to your ability to move in the water, and the people or vessels that are less easily movable mobile are the ones that have the right of way, and in this case surfers being the least mobile, and anybody on a wind-driven vessel being more mobile needs to stay generally downwind of the surfers.
And I like to add that the condition that we surf in are already extremely challenging on their own in the winter with the cold and the wind. So people try to look for each other and try to be safe and stay warm and surfing is about smiling. We always say in a contest, the biggest smile win, and that's what is it about. So it's the same for kite surfing, the same for stand-up paddleboarding. We all share the same environment, and it doesn't matter what people decide to do. It's all about the respect of the nature, and at the end of the day, nature has the last word. We don't. So,
well, if we follow those rules, we avoid a nightmare, and that's kind of a segue, I think, conveniently. And so I have been having recently a couple, and you chime in if you've had these, or maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. I've had some dreams. Actually, most of my dreams that I have when I'm windsurfing are dreams where I get there too late for the wind, and everybody's coming in and they're smiling. They just had a great session. And, they're huge. Not the stuff that's make believe, like huge waves at Durand Beach on Lake Ontario or something like that, which would be nice and meaty. But like I'm either there too late, or I've forgotten a piece of equipment. Some vital piece of equipment, like a wetsuit when it's 40 degrees, or I've somehow I've forgotten how to rig a sail, or I'm out there and everybody else is buzzing around and I'm bobbing in the water and they're going by me. Like,
what are you eating before you go to sleep? I mean, well, they say what you eat can affect your dreams. So
no,
yeah,
wow,
yeah,
I'm an ice cream guy.
I was going to say I've had some pretty weird ones with chocolate ice cream. But man, I'm sorry to hear that, because I have the greatest dreams. I mean, I have these weird morph dreams where I'm half flying because I have the kite, and I'm kiting in situations that would be completely impossible, like having a great session on a tiny little pond that's surrounded by a pine forest, and then suddenly I go through the pine forest and magically I can manage to keep my kite in the air.
Wow.
It's just
wow.
Just in your dreams.
Just in my dreams, yes. I did put the kite into the tree once, just recently, for the first time in a dream, where finally I did have an accident with the kite going into a tree in the dream, but for the most part, it's pretty bizarre.
Wow.
But
I maybe it's just me then, because I know hockey players, people that skate, talk about having like the forget your skate stream, where you're there and it's a big game and you get to the rink and your skates were out drying or something, you forget to put your skates in in the bag. So I guess, and I've had that dream before too. I
Yeah.
wasn't, I guess I dabbled in hockey, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I need to cut back on the ice cream and go more with the chips. My wife enjoys chips and snacks and more stuff like that. But maybe I shouldn't snack at all before bed. That's probably better.
Maybe you need to build one of these trailers where you can have all your sails pre-rigged with booms on them.
Yeah.
And then you have a less of a likelihood of forgetting any of those components. So you simplify, and then you wind up having a better dream.
And I've had dreams too where I'm the big deal. I'm the big cheese there, right? And but everybody else is just flying around, and I'm goofing around with some piece of equipment on the, I've got seaweed around my fin.
Stuck in the mud dream. Yeah, I've had that.
You miss the wave. That's not good.
They torment me. It's hard.
That's because you look at your website, don'tmissthewave.com. So that now you're missing.
Don'tmissthewave.com.
Don't miss the wave. Come on, man.
But the good thing is I'm a little surprised because usually in my dream I'm a better surfer than I am in reality. So I don't miss anything in my dream. But that's when I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm waking up. No, I'm in the Great Lakes and I'm not in Hawaii.
That's great. That's great.
Well, I just had to put that out there because, I know you guys aren't dream experts. Maybe somebody out there is that's watching. and you can get to us at RochesterWindsports.com. But, I don't know. I had to put it out there and see if you guys... I'm the only one, I guess.
How about you, Aurellien? Do you have any surf dreams?
Yes, like I said, when I usually have surf dream is I dream a lot about France. I really like the one city in France called Biarritz. I live there, and I definitely dream very, very, very often that I'm surfing over there just because I had the very good memories, and it's a very, very beautiful city with fantastic, consistent surf. And you can, instead of having chocolate ice cream before you dream, you can have a little fromage and wine. And then you have sweet dream. But I do dream a lot about surfing alone in some very cold place, maybe Nova Scotia, British Columbia, where I'm having just a great adventure and with the nature.
Are there other people with you, or are you on your own?
I'm usually alone with my board and my wife. And usually if I'm with my board and my wife, I have everything I need, right?
Yeah.
So
nice. I meant to say that before. But I agree with you. I guess I have had, and France being more kind of your roots when you learn surfing, I guess I do have some happier dreams from when I was a kid. When I learned to windsurf on Georgian Bay, so I will have some happy. But then I'm on that old windsurfing gear, and I'm not an accomplished windsurfer in those dreams, but I truly am enjoying what I'm doing. So I guess maybe we're doing the right thing.
I'm glad
that's what you matter.
Yes.
No, yeah. So, Jason, you had a trifecta, or what'd you call it?
A triple crown on Sunday.
This weekend.
Yep, we had some glare ice conditions over on Cranberry Pond, up by Lake Ontario in Greece, New York, and I went out with my kite and some skis. The wind was very light and variable, so that rig didn't work all that well. I did get a short session, but then had a chance to do free skating, which is windsurfing on ice with a board with skateboard trucks and blades on it, which is a lot of fun. It was a great day for that because of the glare ice conditions. You want to have really smooth, polished ice for that. And then a guy on an ice boat came by and was talking to me, and I asked him if I could take it for a spin. And so I sailed an ice boat for the first time on Sunday, which was a lot of fun. And that is, it looks about the size of a sunfish. The sail itself is about the size of a sunfish sail, maybe a bit bigger. And then the boat itself is got 3 blades, one in front that steers, and 2 in back that are out wide. And the front blade with the steering you hold with one hand, and then the other hand you sheet the sail in for more power, and you go across the wind. It was a lot of fun, and they were hitting speeds of up to 40 miles per hour that day, and that's just in wind in the mid-teens.
Yeah.
So it was pretty exciting, and I was chasing another sailboat going across the ice and got going pretty fast and got onto 2 blades. I had to let the sail out to prevent from flipping over, so it was pretty neat.
You regained control?
Yep. Yep. Just let the sail out just like you would with a windsurfer, and pull in for more power, let out for less power, and it was a pretty neat experience. So
after you told me, and I could sense in your voice when you called me on Sunday how great a time you'd had. I did some research, and they've brought some boats on the Hudson River. It's been cold enough that there's apparently places on the Hudson River that they've been using the ice boats this year, and they've got a couple boats that were made in like 1890s that they've either restored, and they were on the water, and they talk about back more in the heyday or when these were made, when we had real winters, that they would regularly outpace the trains going into New York City. There was a point where they were the fastest vehicles in the world. Were these ice yachts?
Yes.
These were double-masted. Oh, I don't know if they were double-masted, but they had 2 sails.
Wow.
And they could hold 2 people. And I mean, they were serious machines.
Yeah. I was talking to Lynn, who was on the show last time.
Were you on a DN? Was that?
I was on a DN, okay. Yeah. And I guess the theoretical maximum speed is 3 times the speed of the wind. So you could imagine that you could get moving pretty fast on one of those.
Wow.
So I don't know the details behind that theory, but even if you approach two times the wind speed, you could be moving pretty well.
Wow.
And I know the guys on the DNs approach 60 miles per hour, is from what I heard them talking about. So it was a new experience, and it was pretty fun. It was interesting. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, we might be done. Maybe the ice will hold out. We've got enough of it. Maybe this weekend. A lot of people have been paying attention to the temperatures. They've been getting below freezing at night and warmer during the day. So maybe early morning before it all softens up, or maybe we're done. Maybe it's time to get on the water. I know Brad, of Finger Lakes Kiters, in Geneva, he's been out on Seneca already.
The ice is broken, and he's out with Lynn right now, as a matter of fact, down in Geneva. So there's some good conditions today.
I know he was out with Andrew. I think maybe it was, I don't know if it was the same day you were out, but they were out in Seneca. And
yeah, I think it was Sunday. They had an open water session on Sunday.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So
that's fantastic. And you can learn more about him at fingerlakeskiters.com, I think is his website, or search for Finger Lakes Kiters.
Yep.
And they're really good advocates, I think, for safe kite surfing and kiteboarding in the Finger Lakes.
Yep.
And actually, I've been getting emails, and Aurellien, that's where you and I initially met, for land paddling or skateboarding.
Yes.
From there's a good group of people, I think, that kind of were organized or started being organized by Bay Creek Paddle, Ken Altfather there, and they're right now, with the roads are starting to be more clear, they're starting to do some land paddling on those big handboards, the huge skateboards and things like that. So perhaps transitioning for them. Most of those people are paddlers, but as opposed to surfers and sailors and windsurfers. But maybe that's I'm kind of getting excited for that.
Yeah.
I've got a board at work. That before work I'll take it for a spin.
Go through the halls?
Yeah, I'll go through the halls at work. And
there goes that crazy gym teacher again.
trying to spread smiles and not hit anybody when I'm doing it. Yeah. But I'm sure maybe we won't be talking about ice the next time we get together.
Quite possible.
Maybe not. Well, we've got some gear. Aurelien's brought some stuff into the show with him. Again, he is a sponsored rider. And Jason, I know you've got some booties over there. Who wants to do a little show and tell
first? Since I just have one product, I just really quickly wanted to talk about choosing cold weather gear. And I bought these, our Neil Pride 6mm booties. And this time of year, you really need to have some heavier gear in the 5 to 7mm range, especially on your feet. I have some 7mm booties which have worn out, but they serve me very well. And you really need to have really thick booties. And then about 5mm for your hands. And I have some lobster mitts, and those work very well to keep you reasonably comfortable in water temperatures in the mid-30s. So that's important. And this particular boot right here is the Neil Pride Eclipse 6mm boot. It has open toe, and the reason I have open toe is because I have Gore-Tex socks on my dry suit, and so I can put my dry suit socks right in with my feet into that. I ordered them 2 sizes bigger than I normally would to accommodate for a little more room. And the one thing I really like about these is that the webbing. I bought these at Green Hat Kiteboarding, by the way, and a friend of mine down in New Jersey helped me choose these, and it's been a great design because the webbing is thick and the webbing goes straight under the foot, and so you are less likely over time to wear that out and have it rip, and because I have had that happen with other brands. So that was real quick.
So you're hoping to get your first session on that today, and those today?
Quite possibly, yes.
Nice.
And thanks to Vadim at Green Hat Kiteboarding.
No kidding. Oh, no kidding. So your
Yes.
buddy. Oh, wow, that's fantastic.
Yes.
I, as a windsurfer, I'm familiar with Green Hat Kiteboarding.
Oh, you are? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I've certainly seen it on the as I'm surfing the windsurfing kiteboard interweb.
Yes.
So
yes.
I've definitely seen that.
Yes, he's got a great inventory of stuff down in New Jersey. So if you were to want to make a purchase through him, you'd get your stuff quickly because he's really close, within a day, possibly, and without tax because it's outside of New Jersey.
And kind of one of the current unfortunate things is, for the most part, in our area, in our immediate area, there's not really anywhere to go to get this stuff.
Right.
Any kiteboarding.
Right. Retailers in this region
Yeah.
are pretty much non-existent.
No
So,
kidding.
Yep. So.
Well,
So that's that.
thanks
for that.
sharing. I've got a neoprene
Mhm.
wetsuit that I really enjoy
Yeah.
as well.
It's good stuff.
Very elastic, and I'm warming it.
Yeah.
So, Aurellien, I love what you've got over there. Let's. You want to talk about your Hyperflex wetsuit at all, or?
Yes, I bought a lot of things,
no.
but yeah, I'm very thankful for Hyperflex to supporting my surfing in the Great Lakes. Hyperflex is obviously based in New Jersey, and they really did a way better job the past couple of years to really improve their wetsuit. So the idea of Hyperflex was to give a possibility to surfer, kite surfer, windsurfer to brave the cold, but to have an affordable wetsuit. And they started, with wetsuit that were good, but couldn't really compete with the other one. And the idea was to keep the price as low as possible. And the past a couple of years, they came with a wetsuit that's as good or even better than most of the big brand, and they still keep the price way lower. So you can have an affordable, good-looking suit that keep you warm. Very stretchable. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a 5.4. It's a team series. So this is just for the team riders. That's just a reminder for people how much I love America, because I'm so blessed and fortunate to be here. And sometimes with my accent, people may think, he's a pro-French, but no, I wear an American flag when I surf. So very good products, and they have very good booties and a lot of different gears.
Sure.
So very happy with them. And I've been surfing in minus 20 degrees with my Hyperflex product, and I kept warm.
So quick, for me as a windsurfer, I mostly stuck to wetsuits that have been marketed towards windsurfers. But I see that's got a front entry, and you've got a hood that's attached to it.
Correct.
Have you used what is your experience then with that as compared to maybe a rear entry suit? Does it keep the water out well? And how do you find the hood fits and things like that?
If it's very, very well, and they change the entrance, so it's kind of easy to get in and easy to get out. What's very, very
So you're
important.
going in through the chest of it.
That's correct. But it fits the body very, very well. So you will be warm, really. And the hood is just, you need a hood in the Great Lakes. You won't survive without a hood. But it's, like I said, it's very easy to put in, very easy to put out. I personally even had another Hyperflex hood on the top of my hood on a winter session because it gets extremely cold.
Yeah.
But no, front zip is just keep you warmer. And there's no flush. The water do not get in.
I get that.
The hardest things to do in the winter is, I'm sorry to share that, but is to try to do not pee in your wetsuit. And that's something that I hope somebody can invent one day. That a little zipper that you can just, release yourself during a session.
Yeah. Well, I think you're talking. What about last month? We reviewed a couple options of dry suits. Did you have any with a zip? You had?
Yeah,
you did have one with a zip.
My primary suit has a zip, and that's why it's my primary suit. It's because of that flexibility.
But I brought you a little gift.
Oh, some gifts for the show.
A little hat from Hyperflex for you.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you, Aurellien.
You're welcome.
There we go.
It's going to be Christmas Day, so I brought you also. Let me think. I had something else for you. I had a lot of things. Okay, so. Your little stickers too.
Stickers, we love it.
We love stickers like kids, right? for my flex and for Jason, because I know Jason may get jealous.
Thank you.
Fantastic! Wow, I'm in. I'm in. My kids will love these too.
And yes, I have a lot of more things. So you let me know when you want me to share
There we go.
them.
I look like that. I think I do pretty well with this hat on. You know, I've got it. My mother will love this. She says that. Actually, my father does. I'm losing my hair, of course, and I get this glare up here. Perhaps out there in podcast land, you've noticed the glare on my forehead. So this helps a little bit. Hyperflex hat.
Yeah, you look good.
So,
Good looking man.
Yeah, well, I'm normally a rim bending kind of guy, but we'll see.
You
So
have to be hip.
yeah, I have to be hip. I try to be. Yeah. You know, I could still make the kids laugh.
Yeah.
Maybe it's at me instead of with me, but
Don't forget this hat in your dream when you go surfing.
I won't. Good thing. Do you have anything else you want to share? Any other products you've used? Or?
Yes, I brought you a couple of little gifts. First of all, I brought you a Eastern Surfing magazine.
Oh, fantastic.
We have the Eastern Surfing magazine is published on the entire East Coast of America, and we are lucky to have a Northeast blah 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 section there where we cover about the Great Lakes. Every month we put our event results or event that we are planning in the future. So
Very cool.
I received them home from Eastern Surfing magazine.
Reminds me
so
of the
we
New
can
England Windsurfer Journal. They used to do this for windsurfing.
I put it here. Yes,
Yeah,
great.
thanks.
I also brought you a very cool little wax buddy.
A wax buddy, okay.
So this is
You
for
want to review that
So, yeah.
while you got it out?
Yes, so my friend Ron DeMuro that lives in Rhode Island in such a beautiful place that reminds me of France. He's a great architect, successful businessman, and he really cares about the environment, and he wanted to come with a wax comb called Wax Buddy that actually will be made in 100% recycled product, so it's environmental friendly, but also make it more handy. So he has designed a wax comb that is very easy to.
So it's used for what? Being, not being a surfer, being a windsurfer, and having foot straps and things. Is that's to apply or to mold the wax that helps?
It's
give you a sure
mainly
footing on your
to
board?
remove it. Actually,
To remove it, okay.
to remove your wax, but you can use it for so many things. I mean, when you take your hat off and if you make yourself,
I can style my hair.
yes,
That's left.
but great product actually, and very Bethany Hamilton that is a pro surfer use it and say that it was the most sexy wax comb out there. So
Now
made
the
from great people.
Yeah, the comb portion is used for scuffing up the wax if your wax has gotten flattened out.
Correct.
Okay, so you can scuff it and get more grip that way?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So
And then it's got a scraper too.
little gift for you. Yes, there's multi-function. Actually, to be very honest with you, there's some function that I don't even know about.
Huh.
I have a tendency to just remove my wax and change it. So
But that's the first wax comb with a handle.
No kidding.
That's
It's quite durable. I mean, holding it, I don't have any experience with this stuff. It's quite durable.
It's durable.
Yeah.
It looks good. It's very affordable. It's cheaper than any wax comb out there. It's the only one with a handle. It's very practical, and more importantly, it's from a great friend, and it's made with recycled products. So it's very exciting. Yeah.
Cool.
Water sports community.
Mhm.
Water sports community.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Well, anything else? Nothing else? I mean, we're kind of
no.
getting near the... Oh, bring it on.
I have one thing in my bag. Okay, I
more
brought you a little gift from
Santa.
yeah, that's right. From GoPole. GoPole is a fantastic company. Sam, I
So
got
GoPole.
to GoPole, not
Okay.
GoPro, but GoPole and GoPro work together.
Okay.
A very smart concept. Young, dynamic people that I met in the Surf Expo in Orlando they make different mounts where you can have different angle for your GoPro. So, for example, this one, when you go windsurfing or kite surfing, you will put in your helmet. Then the GoPro will be looking at you and what's behind you. So that allow you to have a different angle.
Yeah, different perspective.
This is
Because they're blowing up.
for you, my little gift.
I
right
went.
there.
I was skiing at Bristol this past weekend, and I don't get to the mountain very much. I hope to. My son's starting to ski a lot more, and I've got some good buddies in the windsurfing, windsport, kite surfing community that do it. There were helmets flying all over the place with GoPro
Correct.
cameras
Yeah.
on
Correct.
top, or at least the basic mount for a GoPro. So GoPro is really, and you can make some great videos.
Yeah.
Oh,
with
yes,
that kind
I
of
love
stuff. So you got another.
Yes, I
Another
got one.
another GoPole.
For Jason, it'll GoPole if sometime you go in the water. This is a waterproof GoPole mount where you can put your GoPro at the end. Then you can shoot yourself,
Wow.
or maybe
Yeah,
go
yeah.
in the water with your wetsuit, then shooting somebody surfing or kite surfing. So you really
Great
diverse
idea.
the angle of what you want to capture.
Yeah.
So it's very affordable, it's very practical, and it's fun. So I put it here for you, Jason. Then
Thank
I
you.
give it to you a little bit later.
Thank you, Aurellien.
And
Thank
I
you.
have also $1 million for you guys.
I didn't even have to win it. Wow, fantastic.
So there's a lot of toys out there. We all are like little kids.
Yes.
We enjoy your toys
Yeah,
and gears.
I'm with it. We'll sit around afterwards and check this stuff out. That's very cool, man. Probably share some opinion on it after using it.
Yeah,
in
do
the
a
next
review.
podcast. Yeah, review of the review.
Yes.
The equipment. This has been the most meaty equipment review that
It
we've
has.
had. This is fantastic. Thank you,
Great.
sir.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Aurellien Bouche-Pillon. Thank you for being here.
Bouche-Pillon.
Bouche-Pillon. Bouche-Pillon.
You got it.
Aurellien.
Oui.
Oui. I
Silent L.
I mastered it. I majored in French 1. I did it for 2 or 3 years. So
I did too,
Yeah.
actually.
My teachers weren't happy about it, but I did. So I guess we've kind of gotten to the end of this show, and we'll be doing it again next month. And this is our third podcast.
Yes, it is.
And if you made it to the end of the show, thanks for being at the end of the show. Jay, any parting remarks you want to make? I know you're ready to go get after it on Seneca Lake.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks for watching if you're still watching, and thank you to Aurellien and his wife for coming out and visiting with us.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Doug, and
Of
Jim.
course. And Jim down here at fingerlakes1.com and fingerlakes1.tv. So if you liked what you saw, then you can go to the RochesterWindSports.com website, or you can check out fingerlakes1.tv at the Finger Lakes Board Sports Podcasts page there, and leave a comment or send us an email to find out about anything you heard about on the show. We can put you in contact with Aurellien if you're curious about that. But we'll see you next month as things hopefully thaw out and we hit the water. But until then, for Jason Gordon, I'm Doug Willard. We'll see you out there.